We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, if you need just a little bit of extra college football content to get you through the days, to get you through the nights, subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Join the PATC community. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Share it with your significant other, your psychiatrist, your priest. Share it across your personal social media platforms. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a PATC legend in your comments and in your phone calls. Welcome into the house that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Welcome in the fat guy from Minnesota. That is me. I'm so happy that you could all join us this early evening, July 19th. We're in the third day of SEC Media Days. We're going to be talking about Grandma Saban's carrot cakes. We're really going to be talking about the Alabama quarterback battle. We've been talking about it. I think there's some slippage in Bama country, and pretty much everybody in the PATC community disagrees with me because I'm Greg the Cooler. Not this year. But we shall see. We're going to talk about that. Jim Phillips, the current ACC Commissioner, has been named a defendant in a second lawsuit, Northwestern lawsuit. We're going to go over a little bit of that. Colorado schedules a, what is that called? An executive session meeting for July 25th. July 25th. That date Is that Mona Vision's birthday? Is that why I'm thinking of July 25th? Is that Daniel Montecastle's birthday? It's somebody's anniversary. Don't quite remember, but it's also the day of a new meeting, Colorado. We broke that on Twitter. We had our eyes peeled open to see if that was going to happen, and it did. Now, there's no confirmation that it has anything to do with conference affiliation. We don't have confirmation of that. It could be about the track and field. It could even be about whatever the commissioner of the Pac-12 is trying to show the Pac-12 presidents. A media deal, possibilities, offers, who knows? They're going to list the agenda at some point. We're going to keep our eyes open for it. And yes, when we see the agenda, oh my goodness, we're actually going to post it on Twitter. Oh my goodness, and we're going to talk about it on a college football YouTube channel. Can you believe it? Can you believe we're going to post something that's publicly posted at a public university? I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. So we're going to I'll leave it at that for now. So lots of things going on. We're going to get to your comments as soon as possible. We're going to get to your phone calls as soon as possible. First of all, let me thank everybody that has come in. David Hackett, I appreciate it. Jay Perlmutter, Mr. Bruin is in the house. Mason Randolph, Red Raiders. Ryan Brooks, I'm just here for the singing. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Are we going to sing that song tonight? Because according to the Pac-12, they did put out a positive statement. I don't know. We'll see. Good evening, Bo Stacker. Good evening, Randy Taylor. We are live. Big 12. Be you at Big 12. Patrick, nice to see you again, sir. B, holy smokes. Looking forward to July 25th. It's got to be someone's birthday. Don't remember exactly what July 25th is all about, of course. Mr. Buckeye, Mona Vision, no future Big Ten expansion without Notre Dame. Mr. Monkeys is in the house. Laura Weiss is in the house. It's very hot in Texas. We're about to have a storm here in Minnesota. It's coming. It's coming right at us. So a couple of things could happen in this live show. I might have to get up out of the studio real quick because of something with my parents. Although they're tucked into bed, we do have an aide. I have a sister coming over, but you never know. I might have to jump for a few minutes in regards to that situation. We also have a storm, and because of a grand conspiracy against this studio, against this host, we might lose the stream. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Sean, thanks for coming on in. Steve T-Duck, the pack lives. Thanks for coming on in. Brent, wahoo. Jim Reese, the PATC community is the best. No question about that. No question about that. I know, Tony, Minnesota, Gopher. Severe weather coming, Greg. Keep your head on a swivel. That's why we were either going to come on at 6 or come on at 6:30. We came on as early as possible because the storm is coming. I don't know what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. This might be it. This might be it for your host, for this YouTube channel. We'll see. T-Duck is confident. He's confident. Pack media deal in September. Book it. Book it. Order in the theater. Yeah, I remember what July 25th is. I remember. That's the first day of Act 13. That's right. We got the trucks coming on in. The loading dock employees of the Holy Smokes Theater. It's going to be very busy around the midnight hour. Maybe a little earlier than the midnight hour on Sunday, Monday, July 24th. Maybe they start early in the late evening, July 23rd. And when we come in, when we do our live show, July 25th, I got a feeling it's going to be a new vibe, new wardrobes, new furniture. We're going to have to reset the stage. We'll see if the main characters so far from Act 1 through 12, Colorado is still standing in the middle of the stage, or if there's somebody else. Who's in the seats? Who are in the rows? Who's sitting there? Is there any commissioners? Is there any executives? Media company executives sitting in the rows? We shall see. July 25th, Act 13 begins. July 24th, Act 12 ends. That's what we were told by the staff at the Holy Smokes Theater, breaking out the DP for Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, first of all, go to the description box. Under the video, you're going to see a link to the 2 articles that we're going to be going through in the monologue. You're also going to get a link to our merchandise store, PATC merch store. We got mugs. We got Keep Your Head on a Swivel t-shirts. Check it out. Check it out. Whoa, Nelly, Juan Carlos, thanks for coming on in. Greg the Crooner, I wouldn't call that Greg the Crooner. Look, here are my excuses. Here are my excuses. I have no excuses. That song is way too difficult for me to sing. There's too many notes on it. There's too many. It's an octave and a half, for goodness sake, or something like that. I couldn't start it in the right key. And even though I didn't start it in the right key, midway through the song, I had to switch keys. So it was a brutal performance, but I gave it all I got. I hope you had fun looking at the pictures while I was singing that song. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you coming on in. I think we might be getting a phone call from Mark Ruckert tonight. He might have some information. I don't know. We shall see. He could be a first-time caller, Greg the Reaper. This is the end, my beautiful friend. Bought the U2 single last night. Been on replay all day. Please, Greg, no more singing. No more singing. Well, you know what? I might not sing that song again, but there will be more singing on this YouTube channel. There's a few different things that keeps us different than everybody else. First, you have a host that sings, and sometimes very badly. Second, you have a host that talks, oftentimes very badly. Third, you have a host that makes predictions, and it always goes badly against the spread, games against the spread. So we have, we do things a little bit different here at Peek Around the Corner. Larry Keith, will there be any Best Actor nominations? Man. Will there be Best Actor nominations for the conclusion of Act 12? There wasn't going to be until you brought up this great comment. Yeah, we're going to do it. Larry, we're going to do it. Best Actor nominations, and then we'll have a winner. Let me have that marinate in my brain. Let me write that down. Yes. Beautiful, Larry. Thank you, Larry, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in to the PATC community. Set the stage. We're not setting the stage. Sorry, Daniel. We're not setting the stage until July 25th. I know. Look, we announced this on July 16th. People didn't like it that we weren't setting the stage on July 16th. But we said July 25th, then July 17th, 18th, 19th. And ever since we announced Act 13 starting on July 25th, things have even gotten a little bit more weird. Right? So, how many more things are going to pop here before we get to July 25th? We shall see. We shall see. R. Webb, Brett Yormark for Best Leading Man. Wow. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your continuous generosity, R. Webb. Thank you very much, Brett Yormark. Act 12, though. Act 12. That's from June 1st to July 24th. Would Brett Yormark be the best actor in that time frame? Schultz is my nomination for Best Actor. The problem with Schultz being nominated for Best Actor of Act 12 is he wasn't even in the auditorium. It's got to be somebody who represents the school or the person themselves that was in the auditorium at least at some point during Act 12. Kirk Schultz was never in the auditorium, so therefore he can't be nominated. I don't think so. We're just making this up as we go along, as we build out this PATC community. Actually, it's going to be a town. We haven't come up with the town name yet. We got the Holy Smokes Theater. We got the sports book. We're going to have a few other things, but we don't have the town name, so we have to get that. But anyways, it won't be Schultz. Schultz will not be nominated for Best Actor. I understand where you're coming from, Patrick. I get it because I shouldn't say this, but people are still putting out his information as a source. So I understand where you're coming from, Patrick. I get it. Funky Town. Ooh, Funky Town. A town called Malice. SDSU for acting in the Holy Smokes Theater, then trying to join the Pack Circus. But even they crowd too much for them. Thank you, Nick Flynn, for that comment. Interesting. You know what? We'll get to your we've gotten through a lot of your comments. We got to get through a couple stories here, a couple articles. Then we'll get to your comments back again. Then we'll get to your phone calls. Football scoop, Zach Barnett. SEC Media Days, number 3. Nick Saban says his quarterback battle is like baking a cake. Tyler Buchner, Jalen Milroe, and Ty Simpson need to spend the coming days and weeks becoming the football version of a carrot cake. I love this article. I love what's going on here. Alabama's in the midst of a 3-man race to replace the great number 1 NFL draft pick quarterback Bryce Young. The competitors are, now we've talked about this in past shows, and you all know I'm very queasy about Bama's season here in 2023. Don't think they get to the SEC championship game once again. Am I crazy? Or am I crazy like a fox? Let me know. I want to know what you're thinking about Bama this year. I know a lot of people, come to think of it, in the PATC community, a lot of people are kind of agreeing with me on this. LSU is going to nip them again. Jalen Milroe, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. The default favorite, given that he played the game and a half Young missed last season. While getting starters reps in the second half versus Arkansas in the entire Texas A&M game, Milroe went 16 to 28 for 176 yards and 4 touchdowns against 1 interception. Milroe also rushed 23 times for 174 yards. The redshirt sophomore is an explosive athlete, would give Bama a running game more than any other Tide quarterback since Jalen Hurts, perhaps even more than him as well. Ty Simpson. Now look, I'm being unfair to Ty Simpson. I am. I'm overreacting. I'm guilty. I'm absolutely 100% guilty. So please forgive me. but Ty Simpson looked not good. Not good in that spring game. Not good. You can find it. You go to YouTube, you can find it. I know it's just one game. I know it's a spring game. I get it. But man, I can't get it out of my brain. Ty Simpson, a redshirt freshman. And by the way, it's not like I'm the only one who thinks this. I mean, short time after, Nick Saban went into that transfer portal aggressively and picked up Tyler Buchner. So I'm not the only one guilty of this. A redshirt freshman who threw 5 passes while playing in his allotted 4 games while not burning the shirt, the son of UT Martin head coach Jason Simpson and a former 5-star recruit. Simpson is the least experienced of the bunch, but also possesses the most arm talent. Now, I read an article today that he's actually considered the favorite so far. But then again, we haven't, Alabama, Tyler Buchner, he hasn't had time to show what he's got there. Tyler Buchner, the wild card of the bunch. Buchner transferred in May following offensive coordinator Tommy Rees from South Bend to Tuscaloosa. Buchner has the most experience within the offense, but the least familiarity with the personnel. Also, redshirt sophomore Buchner has played in 13 career games with only 3 starts. He keeps getting nicked up. Oh, this article also says Simpson is the favorite. All 3 offer something, the other 2 do not. Simpson appears to be the favorite, but Saban said Wednesday he is in no hurry to declare a winner. So there's a couple different media sources that are saying that Simpson is the favorite. Because Saban said so. Grandma Saban, the money shot of this article. Grandma Saban used to bake the best cakes in the world. I used to stand by the oven when I was a kid and said, when's this cake going to be done? When's this cake going to be done? And she said, if I take it out of the oven too soon, it's going to turn to mush. So I think we got to let this develop. Make sure we let the cake bake until somebody separates themselves. All the players are working hard. They all have a good attitude. They're all competing well. Alabama is destined to take a step down at quarterback after losing the Heisman Trophy winner and number 1 draft pick. But Saban believes the personnel around whoever wins the quarterback job will be better in 2023 than 2022. The receivers are the same guys, older, more experienced. We've got good runners. The offensive line doesn't have a lot of experience, but we've got some good young players who have developed nicely. Tight end, we have a transfer there that can help us, and some young guys that are developing. Saban has shown he'll pull the cake out of the oven when it's ready, not when the buzzer sounds. In this case, the first snap of the September 2nd opener versus Middle Tennessee. In 2015, Saban alternated between Jay Coker and Cooper Bateman through September before Coker won the job. Alabama won the national title that season. In 2017, Hurts was memorably entrenched at Alabama starter until he wasn't. At halftime of the national title game, Alabama also won the national title that season. For what it's worth, Saban's favorite flavor of cake is carrot. If you're Buchner, Milroe, or Simpson, the coming days and weeks should be spent in the playbook, in the weight room, in the film room, so your head coach feels comfortable cutting himself a slice of notably sweet, moist, and cream cheese top dessert by opening day. So that was a great article written by Zach Barnett, Football Scoops. If I was a Bama fan, I don't know if I would be panicking, but I would have some real high level anxiety. Tell me I'm wrong, PATC community. Tell me I'm wrong, because LSU, they got Jaden Daniels. He's ready to do it again. One more time. He came back, 5th-year player. He's all healthy. LSU's got some beast on defense like they always do. So Let's see what happens. I can't wait till college football begins. Now, let's quickly get to the Northwestern story. And I will get to your comments quickly. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips named a defendant in the second Northwestern lawsuit, lawyers said. Now, we covered this Northwestern story very aggressively before Fitzgerald was fired. We said he should be fired. We didn't say probably. We should, and he will be fired. And then that happened. And then this story has taken 5 more levels of ugliness. Lawyers representing an unnamed former Northwestern player. This is from Chris Vanini from the Athletic. Said Wednesday they will file another lawsuit on behalf of a second player, adding ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips as a defendant. The lawyers also said they discovered more allegations of misconduct in the school's softball and volleyball programs, on top of known allegations in football, baseball, and the cheerleading program. Phillips served as Northwestern's athletic director from 2008 to 2021. Both lawsuits. This isn't quite the money shot. Both lawsuits also list the school itself, President Michael Schill, former President Morton Shapiro, the Board of Trustees, the current athletic director, the former football coach Fitzgerald as defendants. Again, we have a link provided. You can read the whole article. This is the money shot. It's not just one coach. It's an athletic department, possibly a president, that allowed this to go on for years and failed to take the appropriate action to protect young individuals from traumatic events in their lives. You can read the whole article. Again, there's a link provided in the description box. Jim Phillips, the ACC Commissioner, has been named a defendant in the second lawsuit taking action against Northwestern. What does that do for Jim Phillips? Now, of course, look, you're innocent to proven guilty. It's a lawsuit. Anybody can file a lawsuit, kind of, basically. But man, there's a lot of smoke, and we've seen some fire. I'm sorry, but we have seen some fire in this situation. Jim Phillips, this could cost him. This definitely going to cost him when it comes to the ability to rally the troops, have a moral high ground, and all that stuff when it comes to leadership as the ACC Commissioner. If it finds that he as the AD for 13 years, he wasn't the AD for just 2, 3, 4 of those years. And if this lawsuit has any accuracy, has any truth to it, softball program, volleyball program, cheerleading program, systemic. Holy smokes. Okay, put down your comments and thoughts on that. And then here we go, July 25th, special board meeting, executive session only, Mountain Time, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. This was released. We got a tip that this was going to come out, and we put it out there. We broke it on Twitter. Hold on one second. Taking a sip of Diet Coke from my Cloak and Dagger mug. Hold on. Again, the agenda hasn't been posted. This is not confirmation. It has anything to do with athletic conference affiliation. This is not a public meeting. There will be no votes on it. On, let's just say, if Colorado's deciding to change conferences or stick with the conference, there's no votes in this special board meeting. However, I want to keep you all in mind that that can be quickly assembled and voted on. They can post a public meeting, bam, bam, it gets done. Or they could do it 6 months after everybody knows the decision. Now, we do know of 2 Colorado Board of Regents meetings in which they talked about conference affiliation. One in June 6th, and the other one I'm not able to speak of at this point. But it's happened at least twice. We have confirmation. We have it. I'm sorry, but we have it. You can take that however you want to take it. The June 6th, and there was another Board of Regents meeting in which conference affiliation was discussed. And at some point, we'll be able to get into the details of that. Just like how we handled the May situation, the hot bubble of action, 10, 14 days before it happened, we talked about a hot bubble of action. Weeks afterwards, we told you it happened. We told you the day of, the day after. It was a shot to the solar plexus. But so we know there's been 2. Now, we do not have confirmation at all that this special board meeting has anything to do with conference affiliation. It could be just about anything. It happens to fall on July 25th, the first day of Act 13. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This special board meeting is not the reason why July 25th is the first day of Act 13. That was not a direct, we didn't know beforehand that a special board meeting was going to be placed on the 25th. Therefore, we have Act 13 starting on the 25th. However, we were tipped off this morning that this was going to pop. We were looking for it. That's why we were the ones that broke it. At peek around the corner, Flug Empire. This is why we tell you to always keep your head on a swivel. Again, this may not have anything to do with it. But see, we are curious people. We're always poking. We're always prodding. That's what we do. We're not for everybody. If you do not like how we do it, there's a lot of other college football YouTube channels around. We talk about everything in college football. We're working on all these stories continuously, poking and prodding. So, that meeting. Now, Brian Howell, the Colorado beat writer, who does an absolutely fantastic job. Early this afternoon, breaking Colorado head coach Deion Sanders will not attend the Pac-12 Media Day on Friday in Las Vegas because he's having surgery on Thursday. Defensive coordinator Charles Kelly will go in his place. We are hoping and praying for Deion Sanders once again. I've heard a couple different reports that he's having surgery on that day or is recovering surgery. Whatever it is, Deion Sanders, prime time. Get better, get back out on that field. We are praying for you. We're giving you our well wishes, our thoughts to your family, your loved ones. It's too bad he won't be there on Friday because he would give, some energy, some excitement, some drama. And it would be great for him to represent the University of Colorado at the Pac-12 Media Days, but he's not going to be there. And I don't think this has anything to do with him, Colorado, avoiding any comments in the questions and answer period. I don't think that has anything to do with that. This is about health. Deion Sanders, I hope you get better. One more thing before we get to your great comments and phone calls. Again, we put this on our episode this morning. Episode 272, if you missed it, go back and watch it. This was June 17th. June 17th, in the Mercury News mailbag, John Wilner's Mercury News mailbag, the question was asked of him, if a media rights deal isn't completed by Football Media Day, will Commissioner George Kliavkoff still speak there? Or will it be like the men's basketball tournament when he avoided speaking to reporters asked by Dre Wilson 29? The answer from Wilner, our absolute drop dead must be completed and announced deadline for the Pac-12 media rights contract is Friday, July 21st, 5 short weeks away. June 17th, John Wilner said that. I didn't. John Wilner said that. Dennis Dodd didn't. John Wilner said that. Andrew Michon didn't say that. You can go on and on and on and on. This was John Wilner said, and this mysteriously just disappeared. This drop dead must be completed, announced, signed, sealed, and delivered. It's no longer there, I guess. I don't know. Again, put down your comments and thoughts. Obi Deedon, thank you once again, my friend, for your incredible generosity to this YouTube channel. Okay, I made a live event. I'm glad you did, sir. I'm glad you did. I tell you, the PAC deal is such a well-kept secret that not even the Russians, Chinese, or the American governments can keep secrets like the PAC can. We should employ them to protect all of our secrets. Very good point. Very good point. Excellent. If you listen very closely to reporters out there, like a Ross Dellinger, where he said, and I'm paraphrasing, I checked with the media companies. I can't get any traction to this. I cannot verify anything that this source, and he called it an unreliable source coming from the Pac-12, who spread this. He says, basically, I can't get anything out of this. I can't find anybody that will confirm this. Media company executives, they love to leak. They leak like a sieve. Yet there's nothing. There's nothing being leaked. Keep that in mind. Obi, again, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it, good sir. Okay, so we are back to the comments. We're going to get to your phone calls. You can talk about Alabama. You can talk about San Diego State. Man, they're in the Mountain West Conference until 2025. They're going to be playing football in the 2023 season. They're going to be playing football in the Mountain West Conference in 2024 season. They're going to be, the first year that they can play in the Pac-12 is 2025, unless they cough up $34 million. Okay? That's where that situation. And they're going to pay out, $100,000 to the Mountain West Conference lawyers. This did not work well at all for San Diego State. They've played their cards all wrong. Hopefully, they can climb over the wall and get to a Power 5 conference. Hopefully, San Diego State can do that. We do not have them in the PATC Holy Smokes Theater when it comes to this Pac-12, Big 12 saga that's going on. John Minster, I'm actually looking forward to the intro to their media day. I want to see how they spin the media deal. Some writers would probably love for people just to forget about what they have written in the past. Look, I've made mistakes, made more than my share, so has everybody else. But you have to go back and say, look, this is what I said, and I'm taking the L. We don't see that very often. We do not see that often, and we should. We should see it. How desirable is Colorado without Prime? I'm going to be honest with you. Colorado is not as valuable as an Arizona or any of those other four corner schools. What makes Colorado valuable in this situation is that they are the tip of the spear, that they would be the first school to bolt That's what's making them valuable to Brett Yormark. We've talked about this. That's why 4 or 5 years from now, there might not be a chair at the big boys table for Colorado to sit in, with Prime or without Prime. And that's not a knock on the University of Colorado. It just isn't. But what makes them valuable in this case is that they're the ones, they've worked on this. I know people still don't believe it, but they've worked on this. They've given themselves the ability to pull the trigger. Internally, they have worked it out. Externally, with the Big 12 and Fox and ESPN, they've worked it out. They've got all their questions answered. They've done all the meetings. They've got it all lined up. I know people in the chat do not believe me, and that's okay. Because when the story's written, you're going to read the story of how this played out, and it's going to match what we've been giving you, the peek around the corner during these many months. That's what makes Colorado so valuable, is that they're willing to be the first ones if they pull the trigger. Greg, showing the meeting, you must be a carnival barker. Well, that's in my bio. I'm a carnival barker. That's in my bio. So I'm also an unidentified Flugarian object. That's also in my bio. Blake says the ACC might be in the market for a new commish. Could be. Now, I don't think we're anywhere close to that. But, you know how these stories are. They pick up momentum. The smoke becomes fire. Inertia. Optics. ACC has to protect themselves. They don't really know what happened, right? This did not come up. There was no red flags when they did the background search. Who knows? This thing could break so many different ways. I swear this Northwestern thing keeps getting worse. You're absolutely right, Nick. Just trying to get caught up on the comments. Alex Larson, Colorado admitted when they hired Prime that they wrote checks they did not have the cash for. There's going to be pressure from the donors to help with the cash. The donors have already spoken. May 24th, May 31st. So they've spoken. Boulder, Colorado, and Newport, California. The reason why I'm giving this detail up is because it's out there now. I was not the one who reported it. There was other people put out this information. We knew it. We told you about the 24th, the week beforehand, the May 31st. This is why I'm able to give up the details now. But we had to keep our mouth shut when this stuff was going on. Colorado did so much work to give themselves the option of pulling the trigger if and when they see that the Pac-12 media deal isn't going to give them what they need to push the front porch of the university forward in this new landscape of college athletics, college sports, college football. Has Colorado seen what they needed to see from George Kliavkoff? Of course they haven't. Of course they haven't. None of them have. None of them have. Okay, let's get to your phone calls. I'll keep going with your comments. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. And then share the video. If you want to donate to our independent channel, hit that $ in the comment section and we'll get to your comment as soon as possible. The phone number is 763-260-1333. It's on the ticker right below my ugly mug. Let's get to your phone calls right now. Phone lines open. And you can talk about anything in college football. You do not have to talk about what I talked about in the monologue for today's live show, Wednesday, July 19th.
Call from?
I took the pledge, Greg.
Western Civic took the pledge. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, well, we all see what's going on out here.
Okay, Grant, big conspiracy. What's going on?
Well, I thought it was a great idea, and I've signed on, and I would encourage others to do so. And, I'm a huge Pac fan, and whatever's going on, I took the no login pledge, Greg. I will not log into any kind of anything to watch football, and that's the pledge I'm taking today, and I hope your people will join us. Because let me tell you, as we're talking about this kind of thing, and Coach Prime, I don't know, John the Liquidator just did a video, showed his feet. I mean, I'm still really kind of lit up since I saw that video earlier today. I'm just angry.
What video?
Well, this guy, John the Liquidator, he's one of the guys who does videos supporting Coach Prime over in Colorado, and he's been following the whole saga, does little quick quips and stuff, and, targeted a younger audience. But, he did a video today about, Coach Prime's announcement. And anyway, I want to talk about the Pac in general. I want to get to that. But before I get to that, look, there's something else going on this Friday that, when I look at Coach Prime, and there's a lot of distractions going on this Friday. Not only Pac, whatever, you got Otani's pitching, and I don't know what else is going to go on, but there's a global treaty going on with the World Health Organization. Anyway, we'll talk that. Whoa. Anyway, when I see something like Coach Prime, and anyway, don't let them distract us too much, and I don't want to get off topic, but people should know that's happening this Friday as well. And quite frankly, I don't even care what Kliavkoff has to say until I hear what's going on over there. But anyway, look, we're going to have to I've been looking at the Pac, right? I mean, we love our Pac. God, I love Pac football. I've been raised with it my whole life. It's just part of who we are out here in the West Coast. And boy, we took a hit, didn't we, Greg? I mean, USC and UCLA leaving. I mean, that's like, that's the shot to the solar plexus. Anything after that is we're just trying to sort it out, right?
Yes.
And so, look, and you look at the Pac, man. Look, things like this don't happen quickly. You guys, I know there's a lot of pressure. ESPN wants to break it up and see if they can get them onto their Big 12 East to West contract and all of that, and they're trying to rattle. But look, this conference does not move that quickly, man. And if you look at the Pac in our history, and we're not the Pac anymore without USC and UCLA, despite the amazing football coming up, and that's going to have to be the focus. And boy, that's going to be a bummer because it's going to be awesome. But anyway, look, the only two times the Pac has ever expanded is essentially when a G5 school won the Natty. Okay? That's only happened twice. And that's when ASU did it in 1975, and they brought Arizona, came over as a travel partner. They're the ones they've never earned their spot on the gridiron. They got the basketball. But anyway, so it's ASU, and the other time, of course, Utah, and they brought Colorado as their travel partner, and they had a Natty of their own, right, from 90. So, despite, all of this, I feel the pressure, and we're getting it every day from 365 Sports, and we need to talk about the consultants, Greg, that I think maybe your Arizona money purchase probably won, and maybe a few others, but you can talk about that another time. We'll get to that. But, and by the way, you want to talk about a benefit about being in the Pac as a total side note. One of the benefits is you get to come to Seattle. Wow, this place is gorgeous. But anyway, look, the Pac does not expand quickly. They're really, if you look at the West,
hold on, hold on.
No, let me finish.
Wait.
And then I'll hang up and you can say whatever.
No. Hold on. I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying. David Bauer and everybody in the chat, I know a Denver Post article came up. When Western Civic is done with this phone call, we'll be going through it. So I've got it. So everybody in the chat, relax. Western Civic, I apologize. Go ahead. Continue on.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'll be interested in that as well. But and thanks for letting me say this, Greg. But you know, if you look around, there really are no legitimate PAC candidates in the West, except maybe Kansas. And that's why we were always talking about Kansas is like the only, like, you know, what else is there in the West? They're really, you know, San Diego State is an R2, and so is SMU. I mean, you know, Tulane, and when you look around and you're a PAC person, you say, well, who else do you want to play? Well, they're really, I mean, we just like each other. We're cool, I think.
Yeah.
Look, there's going to have to be a complete digestion of this major blow of losing our two biggest media market schools. That blow has not been absorbed yet. Okay? It hasn't been absorbed. It's only been a year. People haven't digested what that means. And so, look, whatever happens, it's probably not happening for a while. And hey, I have one question before I leave, and then I want to hear about this story as well. Yeah. And that is, does the Big Lubbock, does the Big 12 get the same bonus for adding Washington State and Oregon State as they would any other PAC school?
All I know is up to at least 4 schools would get the pro rata. They would all come in and make $31.7 million in their media payouts.
Yeah, and I just look, man, I really hope that doesn't happen. And I just look around. Let me tell you this.
Okay. I got to get to this article, Western.
If the whole PAC went to the Big 12, then that would be one thing. But it's just not going to happen, guys. I'm glad I got my money line bet. All right, what's going on, Greg?
I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to hang up.
All right, no war and annual playoff flexibility. We got to get there. I'll be listening.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. Okay, so we're going to shut down the phone right now. We got breaking news. And okay, that didn't work. I hope I didn't screw up the phones. Anyways, okay, Denver Post, Sean Keeler just posted. Coach Prime or no Coach Prime. The Colorado Buffs' preference is to remain a member of the Pac-12, Chancellor Phil DiStefano told the Post on Wednesday. Okay? Coach Prime or no Coach Prime. The Colorado Buffaloes' preference is to remain a member of the Pac-12, Chancellor Phil DiStefano told the Post on Wednesday. Nothing new yet, right? Because we all know that the Pac-12 schools want to stay together. But the university's commitment to the conference, it joined a dozen years ago, could depend in part on a long-awaited Pac-12 broadcast rights deal. You hanging with me? DiStefano said clarity on the new media partnership is expected to be presented to the league chancellors and presidents Thursday by Conference Commissioner George Kliavkoff. Now, we know that the deal's not going to be announced on Friday. Why do you think that they're getting presented with more clarity Thursday, the day before Friday? Ask yourself that question. Quote, I'm eagerly awaiting to hear what the commissioner has to say Thursday, DiStefano told the Post in a phone interview Wednesday afternoon. This just happened. But at this point, the 10 schools are staying together and awaiting a message from the commissioner. Colorado is one of the 4 inland Pac-12 members. dubbed the Four Corners schools, reportedly targeted by new Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark as potential additions as that Texas-based league is seeking to expand its reach from coast to coast. And then the next paragraph is all about everything we know. DiStefano told the Post that DiStefano told the Post that he has not had any negotiations with Yormark or with the Big 12. Colorado's goal is to stay within the Pac-12. That's the goal. He's not making a prediction. That's the goal. And have a media deal coming up shortly. That's our goal. And I believe the presidents and chancellors of the Pac-12 are together on that. When asked if there was a target payout number that Colorado would like to see from the Pac-12, DiStefano replied, "You'd like to see it at," I think all along, he doesn't say, "I like to see it at," I think all along we've talked about and have been looking at what the ACC and the Big 12 have received and what the SEC and the Big 10 are getting and wanting to be kind of in the middle of the pack, probably to be third behind the SEC. That's been a goal for such a long time. DiStefano added that he had yet to see a final number on the media rights. That's why we're meeting on Thursday. Holy smokes. They're meeting on Thursday because there's schools that need to see what the real numbers are. Finally. We've been telling you for months they haven't seen the real numbers. They haven't. I'm sorry. They haven't. He just said it. But there is one thing in here. I'm sorry. DiStefano told the Post that he has not had any negotiations with Yormark or with the Big 12. I have no idea why he's told the Denver Post that. And you're going to be hearing more about that from me, not tonight, but maybe tomorrow. Definitely Friday. I'm going to be doing a live show Friday. Probably my own live show Friday. And then at night at 7 o'clock Central, I'm going to be on with Big 12 Mafia, Nathan Brown. That part of that article, once we're done with the live show, I'm going to be very, very busy. I do not want to label that statement anything right now, but I think he should not have said that. I get it. The key word is negotiations. He could have had preliminary. They went past preliminary discussions. And maybe, negotiations. I mean, Colorado knows exactly what they're getting. There was really no negotiations. They're getting exactly what Oklahoma State getting, West Virginia's getting, Cincinnati's getting, TCU's getting, Baylor's getting. So maybe that's the wiggle room. There was no negotiations. Colorado had some questions after the meeting. They were told no on a few of those things they asked for. So there weren't really any negotiations. So I guess that's the wiggle room. He did not say they did not meet because they met. So again. Wow. They need to see numbers on Thursday. This is why we're going to get back to phone calls. It's going to be a very busy night for me once again.
Call from
Cutie Pies.
to accept.
The floor is yours.
Great. This is Mark Ruckert. How you doing, Greg?
Mark Ruckert. I remembered last time you called and it was Cutie Pies before.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Anyways,
it's a little business.
I got it. And I think last time I accidentally hung up on you because I thought it was the wrong caller. So go ahead, sir. The floor is yours. What are you thinking?
All right. First time calling in, at least where I got through.
Yeah.
First, just want to say I stumbled on your show a couple months ago, and I've been a huge fan ever since. I can't tell you how much I respect you and the Little General for taking care of your folks.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sitting in my office, which was converted into my father's bedroom for the last few months of his life, and I just know how difficult, but also just so rewarding that experience was. And so, Godspeed to you and your
Thank
wife and your parents.
Appreciate it, Mark.
But the reason I wanted to really call in today, and I learned a very expensive life lesson along the way, and I thought maybe if I shared it, it might be helpful to somebody, or maybe people will just think I'm barking at the moon. But me and my family, a couple decades ago, lost over $1 million in an investment because we had a family friend that gave up a pretty good career and went to work for a startup tech company. And this family friend was telling us a lot of very positive information, and we felt like we had a source. We felt like we had the inside story on, a company that was going to go big, and we were going to make, a fortune. And this family friend is an honorable person. I think he believed everything he told us.
Yeah.
And it was all forward thinking, forward looking. It was all what we think is going to happen, what we hope will happen, but none of that was really what will happen or what has happened. And I think what we have right now in the noise that's out there on this college realignment stuff is so much of this sourcing is coming from people that are saying what they want to happen, what they think will happen, but it's not based in reality. It's just based on their hopes. You get personally tied in with a conference, or maybe financially you work for a conference, or your livelihood as a reporter with a conference, whatever it is. You have reasons to want to believe what you want to believe, and everything that comes out, you take it through that prism. And as it relates to this business thing that cost us a lot of money, our source gave us information, and then I became the source, and I started sharing information with friends and people, and they got into this investment and they lost money. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying the source was dishonest. I'm not saying it was a bad source. It just turned out not to be accurate. And I think Larry Pilgrim's a straight shooter. I get a good feeling from him in the chats, and seen him on some videos, and I think he's a straight shooter. I think he has a source that he trusts, and I think that source very well might have that same kind of dynamic going on that my friends, the family had, where the information is what they want to hear and what they want to believe, and it's all forward-looking statements. And in the investment world, a company, if they say this is a forward-looking statement, you might as well just put a great big old asterisk after it and say not likely to happen. Your sources and your information has been more specific events. You nailed the USC UCLA thing. and I happen to believe that your sourcing on this, and frankly, your approach to disseminating has been perfect, because you have not promised anything. You have made it very clear that you think it's going to happen, but you don't know that it's going to happen. And I think that that's just really the way that it has to be approached. So anyway, I don't have any new information or source information to give the community. My life lesson that I wanted to share is anyone who claims to be the inside source of anything they probably have an agenda, and they might be good people with a good agenda, but it doesn't mean anything. Show me the money, show me the deal, get it in writing, tell me what's actually happened, not what you think is going to happen. So anyway, that was my message. And
beautiful.
Just love your show. And
great phone call.
Keep
Thank
up the
you.
great work.
Call again, Mark.
You bet.
Appreciate it. We so we have this.
Call from
Lewis.
Can you just hold 1 second? I just want to complete a thought.
Sure, Greg.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So we have this Arizona State money purge. She gave us all this information about the hockey program, the creation of the hockey program. We know who he is. We know where he sits. And, he gives us this first email, this first letter on January 31st, the day after the January 30th meeting that the Pac-12 had. And throughout this whole thing, he keeps saying, we don't have numbers. We don't have real numbers. We never had no numbers. Da-da-da. He said it throughout this whole thing. And we kept telling you guys this. And other people are reporting these numbers, They have a deal, but they don't have the grant of rights. And we kept saying to you, now this Arizona State money purge guy isn't particularly pro Big 12. He's just telling us because he thinks he's going to find out. Because he has a connection. He has whatever. He keeps telling us this. And even today, in this Wednesday afternoon, the Colorado Chancellor told the Denver Poise they haven't seen the numbers. They have no idea what the numbers are. So, now, so if this, I'm just I'm giving you guys a heads up. If this Arizona State money purge guy sends us a letter tomorrow evening and gives us some numbers and says, yes, they got some numbers and this is what it is, I'm going to report that to you. So I just wanted to throw that out there. There are many parts of that article that came out here just this afternoon that rang a whole lot of truth to it. DiStefano doesn't, they want to stay in the Pac-12. They don't have the numbers. They're going to get the numbers Thursday, more clarity. I wonder why that is. I'll tell you why that is. From our perspective, from everything that has been dropped onto us, why Act 13 is starting July 25th with a new vibe is because he has to deliver something. Because if he doesn't, schools are going to pull the trigger. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. If there's something there that Colorado can work with, they might make that decision to stick. But they need to see something. And this is not by accident that George Kliavkoff has to show them something, will show them something. Was just told by us, by the Chancellor of Colorado, that is scheduled for George Kliavkoff to show them something on Thursday, because basically he has to. It's not a never-ending deadline to this. Thank you, Lewis, so much for your patience. I appreciate it. The floor is yours. Whatever you want to talk about, sir.
Well, good evening. A couple interesting. If there are numbers that are going to be shared tomorrow, then they will leak. Or they normally would leak by the media companies. By somebody tonight or before the meeting, or if not, they'll be leaked shortly after the meeting, well before the media day start, if there are numbers to present.
Yes.
And right now, I'm not hearing there's a deal. Now, the concept I've been thinking about with this never-ending story that has just been ridiculously long is it's like a National Treasure movie where you have to try a bunch of keys to unlock the lock. And there's 1,000 keys. There's 1,000 keys. There's really only one or two that actually work. But there's no tidal wave or any pressure forcing the issue. There's no hurry to get this done. And they keep trying keys until they hope to get one that works. But there's a lot of different scenarios with only one or two that will keep the league together. Because, I mean, the Monty show, for what they're worth, and I think they have been pretty insightful in this, they said there was a deal that was acceptable to some, but wasn't. It was 80% streaming, and so it was pulled. So all this discussion over the last 6 months, we're close to a deal. It might be they are close to a deal. It's just that when it gets time to try the key, it doesn't work because they know what certain schools need to stay, and they can't get that key. They're trying to get that one key. Do they have it? I don't know. The problem is this could go on for another couple months. It could go on for really well into the fall. But the teams, well, you don't think go on? You don't think go on to November? I think go on to November.
I don't think I don't. It's not going to go on a couple more months with the 10 current schools. I don't think so. Not that what I don't think so. Now could it go on?
Yeah, okay.
You know. But anyways, go ahead.
So like I said, think about the magic key. The problem is there is no leverage. The Big 12, it's not like the ACC is breaking up tomorrow and they could theoretically look to get some of those schools if that league breaks up and then all of a sudden it forces someone to make decisions in the Pac-12. There's no leverage, and so it just continues on this ridiculously slow pace. But there are 1,000 keys, only 2 work, and they keep trying them. They've been trying them for over a year. They haven't found one that works yet that's going to keep the 10 together. There might be one, but it's going to take an inside straight, as we've been saying for a long time. And then they're not going to quit. Colorado Chancellor, Greg, reminds me, I think I may have alluded to this movie in a prior call, the movie about the late chef, Michael Ovitz and David Letterman. David Letterman's prohibited contractually from negotiating. So they have discussions. That's all that's happening here. That's all, because the Colorado Chancellor's not going to go on the record before the media day and say he's been talking to Brett Yormark if that's been happening. He's not going to say it. Yeah. So he said negotiations. He didn't say he hasn't spoken to them at all. I mean, again, the question I would ask is, have you talked to them at all?
Yeah.
And the same way the Arizona State president, we haven't talked to the Big 12 about moving. We've had all kinds of other discussions. I mean, that's just what happens. You're not under oath with a reporter. You're not under oath in a deposition. That's why schools don't sue each other, because on a deposition you can't say this because then you could get perjury. There's no perjury to a reporter, and so negotiation has different things. I wouldn't put much stock or be too concerned about what the Colorado president says. I think Colorado wants to stay in the Pac-12. These 10 schools want to stay together. I don't know if it's going to happen. I would like for this to end, but we're still a ways away. So 2 final points, and I'll get off. Number 1 is that the Kliavkoff press conference should be interesting. I hope that the national media asks some tough questions, because there's a lot of pent-up demand to ask this gentleman questions. He has handled this poorly. I give him an F, the lowest grade possible, for not messaging. He's the leader, and I believe the rumor is that people don't want him to talk. I don't know, but he has said nothing for 8 or 9 months. And you can't do that when your conference is getting under siege, and you can't try to use other reporters. You've got to get out and talk. So I'm looking forward to not so much what he says. I think it'll be measured. I don't think he's going to have pithy comments like, we're not sure if we're shopping at the Big 12. I think it's going to be a more somber, more measured, and very prepared speech he's going to give. Very prepared. I'm interested in the questions that come on that. I'm interested in seeing if anybody else in the interviews says anything in the Pac-12 media days. Sadly, 99 of the 100 issues in the Pac-12 media day are going to be about the deal, and only 1 out of 100 will be about football. And the final thing I will say, I don't think the Pac-12 is expanding anytime in the near future. I think they will stick with 10 if they're able to find a deal that works for the 10. It's going to be such an inside straight, such a magic key. They can't afford to add 2 group of 5 schools and dilute the revenue. And on top of that, the Big 12 had a lot of success the last 10 years getting into the playoffs and splitting that money 10 ways. The Pac-12 needs to do that as well, not to split it any more than 10 ways in order to try to keep up with the money. So I think Pac-12 expansion is done, at least for 2 years, but probably for the length of this next deal if they get one, because it's not easy to get out of the AAC in a year. You need at least 2 years. If you look historically at teams that have left under that 27-month rule the AAC has, no one's getting out the year without coughing up a ton of money. And I've heard SMU has a lot of money, but I don't think they're coughing that up. And SDSU is not coughing up $34 million. Even if they can negotiate that down, I don't think they're coughing up $24 million either to leave that quickly. So I think Pac-12 is at 10 teams for at least 2024 if they stay together. And it will be interesting to see what happens next week. But as far as the board of directors, I mean, we've had so many of those over the last year. It's hard to say what will happen. I look forward to getting this resolved, and I thank you for a great show.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lewis. Great phone call. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to go through Jason Scheer, Arizona 247, a few tweets he's put out since the Denver Post article. Jason Scheer.
Call from
Immaculate.
Immaculate. Can you hold for a second?
Absolutely.
I want to read off Jason Scheer's tweets. As we first reported on our message board a few days ago, George Kliavkoff will provide a crucial internal update this week. The key word crucial, right? Then Jason Scheer tweets out, from what I've been told by a high-ranking source, it would be a surprise to Pac-12 presidents if an acceptable deal is presented this week. There will be an update, and the hope is that it will be more complete than the previous ones. Now, as we've said at Peek Around the Corner, the last one, there was hardly anything there. Now, Jason Scheer says what I've been told by a high-ranking source, it would be a surprise to the Pac-12 presidents themselves if an acceptable deal is presented this week. They're not expecting a deal, one that they can act upon, one that they can sign off on. And then Jason Scheer tweets out, the Pac-12 has had plenty of these meetings. Nothing has come from them. Maybe that will change someday, but doubtful it's Thursday. Now, since the Denver Post has put this article out, this interview from DiStefano, of course, I haven't been able to communicate with the people that we communicate with. But on the whole, I would agree with Jason Scheer. They weren't expecting nothing this week. I don't think they're going to get anything Thursday, but we'll see. But I find it quite interesting that he's presenting something Thursday. He must feel that he needs to present something Thursday, the day before the media deals, knowing he's going to be asked about it, knowing that there could be leaks about this deal, and there will be. We're going to be digging for it. I can guarantee you that. I find this Denver Post interview with DiStefano to be the most intriguing interview in the last probably month when it comes to the saga. Immaculate, Brian, thank you so much for your patience. The floor is yours. What do you think, sir?
Wow, it looks like I called in at the right time.
Yes, sir. Yes, you did. Holy smokes.
I was pretty excited to call you and talk about something else. But
okay, go ahead. Talk about anything you want.
Well, this tweet, we might as well talk about that first. You just popped it off. Would you say that he is most likely hearing something from the University of Arizona, somebody there?
Who he talking about, Jason?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, logically, yes.
Not for sure, but that's his most likely source.
Yeah, and I can tell you, if he was, it would not overlap on who we're talking to. So I probably said already too much, but just I'm and people are going to read what Jason said and how does he know, and he's probably wrong, and that's fine, that's cool, but that falls in line with what we think. Again, I think the interesting part is Kliavkoff seems to think he needs to do this Thursday, and I think he's correct. I think he's correct, Immaculate. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Grant in chat is, I know he's an Arizona guy, and he's confirming that. So,
What was that?
Grant in your chat. I know he's
okay. Yeah. Yep.
saying it's confirmed. But yeah, I just found that interesting because we're all wondering what Arizona's thinking. I mean, we all kind of feel like Colorado's leaning in that direction, but Arizona kind of been back and forth. And if it's coming out of there that no presidents are into that, well, he may not know about all presidents, but he may know what Arizona's president is thinking.
Or the AD of Arizona.
Yeah, and ADs, like we said, ADs know what's on the president's mind, and they're dealing with them in person almost every day.
But I don't, I don't want to. I have no idea who's Jason's talking to, so I don't talk to Jason. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. I think we said a few things back and forth on Twitter last week, but it was whatever. I'm not his source. He's not my source. I don't think our sources probably connect, but I'm just putting that out there.
Okay. Yeah, not trying to say like that was his source, but just it seems like that would be likely. But my other question I got for you is about Phillips and the ACC. And if there's any legal folks in chat, because I don't know for sure, but if we know from public statements from certain schools and certain officials at certain schools that they're looking for ways to, let's say, leverage their own conference. And I don't know if this begins to give them a little extra leverage. When your commissioner may have criminal charges pushed on.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry I'm laughing. But go ahead.
I know. Because it's just crazy how this is coming out of that, so to speak.
Yeah.
A Northwestern story turns into this. It's pretty wild. But they all made a lot of chatter, and then they went quiet. They went very quiet. And that doesn't always mean things got smoothed over. It just means they got people's attention, and now things are going on behind the scenes. So I'm just kind of curious if there's anyone out there. I was kind of hoping Mullen Vision was around.
I think I said last week that we believe in a couple weeks somebody would say something publicly about this issue. You remember that? And you called me?
Mm-hmm.
And you guessed it was Miami of Florida?
I pretty strongly believe that it was Miami of Florida.
Okay. Well, I still think it's going to happen. Well, I believe somebody's going to publicly say something to sort of push the story back in the public square here shortly. We were told that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, how quick, if Jim Phillips gets in big trouble here, how quickly, what could it happen that he gets in big trouble here? I mean, are we talking 3 months? Are we talking 6 months? Are we talking 2 weeks? What time frame are we talking? I know it's probably the great unknown, but.
Yeah, I don't know. And as David is saying in the chat, it's civil now, but civil cases require less burden of proof. But if they bring up something that prosecutor looks at and goes, hey, we got a case. Criminal cases can come out of civil cases. It tends to go the other way because a criminal case, they end up not having enough evidence or it doesn't go through and then people go to a civil case. But it could go the other way if there's enough public outcry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's interesting how I was really trying to stay away from the Northwestern thing because it kind of seemed like the president there bungled that. And it's unfortunate. But
we hit that story hard when it came out. We've kind of laid off it for a bit. Now we had to hit it again because
it popped up.
Yeah. So,
but about the main one, I want to say, why would you wait to tell these presidents this news the day before the media day if you don't have something good to say? Now, I'm not saying that meaning that they have something good to say, but if they don't have something good to show them, we're going to see it on all their faces. It's going to be right there in front of us.
I think, now again, I haven't been able to, talk to anybody since this came out. They're showing it Thursday because he has to show it on Thursday. That's what I truly believe. Like, it's time. It's time. Do we have a deal? Could we get a deal good enough? What is going on? They haven't seen real numbers. So now hopefully they see him tomorrow, and some of these presidents can make a decision.
Yeah.
We've got trucks coming up at the loading dock at Holy Smokes Theater. We've been told by the people who work in the theater that there's going to be a different vibe on July 25th. Maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe it's, it's put up or shut up time. I don't know. I'm just saying.
This is either standing ovation for George Kliakoff time, or this is train wreck. I don't really see much room in the middle when you're doing it this way.
I think you are correct, good sir. I think you are correct.
So I think I'll leave it at that. That's my prediction. It's either we're all going to be standing up going, holy cow, he pulled it off, or
pulled it off. Yeah.
Or wow, this is one ugly scene.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Talk to you.
Wow, what a night, what a week, and we're not even, woo!
Call from
Mo and Vision.
Mo and Vision, Mr. Buckeye, the floor is yours. What's going on? I can't believe what's going on.
Well, shout out to Lewis for bringing up The Late Shift. Fantastic movie, even better book. If anybody has HBO Max, it's streaming on there. I definitely suggest you give it a watch. It's a very interesting movie on negotiations and wheeling and dealing, which seems to be something that is pretty common in this day and age. Just wanted to touch a little bit on what Immaculate said for Jim Phillips. I don't believe he'll be criminally charged. Some people will be criminally charged. And that's probably going to happen in Wisconsin, where that training camp was at, because that's where the crime actually occurred.
Kenosha.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you, Greg, is do you know why sharks don't bite lawyers? Professional courtesy. And that's exactly what you've got going on here. The sharks are in the water at Northwestern. These big civil litigation teams are soliciting former Northwestern athletes directly. They've got teams they're putting together to track these people down. And it's not going to stop at the football team. You're going to have the racial discrimination suits that are coming out about African Americans being required to have certain haircuts. The softball and baseball team issues.
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. It's going to get real ugly for Northwestern. And I think probably Schill might be out of a job when this is all said and done. I can't see the ACC getting Phillips out of there just because of a civil lawsuit. But if things get worse, the ACC might have to cut ties with Phillips.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder when the Big Ten was doing their search. Well, I don't think that they would. I don't know that this would come to the conference level. But I'd imagine right now in the conference offices, there are teams of lawyers and HR personnel descending on every campus to have very thorough discussions on what hazing is and everything else, because this is just a gigantic black eye for Northwestern. and they certainly don't want that to be a situation that permeates the entire Big Ten Conference. As to George Kliavkoff, this is the Hail Mary, Greg.
I think
Day
so.
before Media Day, I'm coming with a deal. I'm coming with numbers. And he's got to think that he's got something there to keep Colorado there. But DeStefano, I think he was being very he was very hung up on the semantics of negotiation. I agree with Lewis. There were no negotiations. There were discussions. Yormark said, this is what it is. He said, okay. That's not a negotiation.
Yeah.
A negotiation is back and forth. This is what this is. Well, we want this. Well, we can give you this. That's a negotiation. When it comes right out and says, hey, boom, it's 31.7, no special privileges, it is what it is.
If, can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Okay. So you're the commissioner of the Pac-12, and let's say you're confident. Let's say you're confident that none of the 10 schools are going to leave you here, at least in the next couple weeks, in the next month. That you still have space, you still have room, you still have the ability to try to cobble together a better deal to keep these schools together. Okay, let's say you are feeling this, that you believe this. Okay, then there would be no reason at all, Mo and Vision, to present numbers on a Thursday before the Pac-12 Media Days for a Friday. There'd be no reason at all to do it now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's fear of Colorado leaving.
Yes,
the other
yes,
thing
and
that
that's
George
why
has to
he's
keep in
doing
mind,
this. Yes.
He has to guarantee these numbers. He can't come back 2 weeks later and say, oh, well, this fell through. Because that's going to cause a whole lot more issues than he has right now. And I'll get off here. I just wanted to say one thing. You keep saying that everybody in the Pac wants to stay together, but everybody in the Pac has been talking to everybody else. So
you're right.
I don't know. It's, Oregon, Washington, we're having negotiations with the Big Ten as of May, up until May as far as I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
You have Stanford and Cal.
Yeah.
Yep, Stanford and Cal trying to get in there in late December.
Yeah.
And everybody in the four corners has at least had a phone call with someone in the Big 12. So they all want to stay together because there's no better – they all want to stay together because there's no better landing spot. The minute there's a better landing spot, they don't want to stay together. So no future Big Ten expansion without Notre Dame. And we need 24 teams in the Big Ten with 6-team regional pods.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Great call once again, Mr. Buckeye. Wow, what a show. Tony, I don't know what that sighting was. Send me a DM. I'd like to take a look at it. July 26th, open hearing in the House. Bam. UAP. We'll see what happens. We got a lot of things going on next week. The 25th, the 24th is the last day of Act 12 in the Holy Smokes Theater, and the 25th is the first day of Act 13, and the 26th we're gonna have some hearings.
Call from
Pat. Steve,
the floor is yours, Mr. Cincinnati Bearcat. What is going on? What do you think? Did you hear what DeStefano said to the Denver Post this afternoon?
I did. Couple things I want to bring up. That interview, I don't know what to think of. What DeStefano said. He's had talks. However, he wants to term negotiations is how he can term it.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's ironic the other night when I was on the phone with you that you had to go take care of your father.
Yeah, I apologize for that, sir.
No, I fully understand. I spent 9 months, morning, noon, and night with my father. I know how tough it is.
Yeah.
I get it. I fully understood, and I know what you're going through, and God bless you and everybody else involved.
Thank you.
I know what you're going through.
Thank you.
Anyhow, first thing I want to say is, if anybody can confirm it, because I've seen it and I think I've heard it, that the first CW game will be Cincinnati at Pitt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can confirm that. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. The CW isn't on the Nielsen ratings, I don't think, because ESPNU isn't. I mean, it's not exactly two teams that are going to put up huge numbers anyhow, but it'd sure be interesting to see. And I'm not even sure what time that game is. I don't know if it's a noon game, 3:30 night. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see some numbers on that. Well, you probably won't. So I just found it interesting that, two pretty good football teams with some success the last few years are going to be the first CW game. So anyhow, the other thing is, doesn't George have basically 10 bosses? The presidents or the chancellors?
Yes.
So who's to say George presenting something tomorrow is George's idea?
It probably wasn't. I don't think it was.
Thank you.
I think this is a must.
Thank you.
This is game time. This is game day here.
I think he was getting pressure from people that, quote, are his supervisors. Yeah. And I said this months ago, I think they put a gag order on the guy.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I still, there's nobody can convince me otherwise until they have the proof. So everybody who thinks, George is willingly coming in to give numbers the day before Media Day, or give more information, I guess would be the best way to put it, before Media Day. I don't think that's what George is choosing. I think George is told to do that. And I think between Kliakoff and the presidents and chancellors and even the ADs, I think they've just, from a PR standpoint, have just stumbled through this terribly. And I don't get, if indeed they are the ones that told George we need something tomorrow, I don't, after 13 months, quite get that strategy. I've been in these situations before in my professional life, not through a whole year, but longer negotiations than I thought would ever take. But I just don't see this as something that's going to play out real well come Friday if they don't have something that's just going to blow the doors off of the college football world.
Yeah. I tell you what, Steve, tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. Friday is going to be an interesting day. Saturday is going to be an interesting day. Sunday is going to be a very interesting day. Monday is going to be a very, 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 very interesting day. Tuesday is going to be Act 13. So buckle up, brace for impact, stay close, stay tuned.
Truthfully, Greg, after they get the info tomorrow, you may not see an A at the Pac-12 day, Media Day. They might be back. They might be back at their campuses discussing what info they have. Who knows? But anyhow, it's just another bullet point on this long saga that seems like it's never ending. But obviously, it's got to come to a head sometime. So. All I got, Greg. Take care.
Beautiful.
Take care of your parents. I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Steve. Great call. I thought tomorrow was going to be the day of just a little bit of, relaxation. Nothing's going to pop. We'll analyze the Pac-12 Media Day on Friday. I'm probably going to be doing a live show in the late morning or afternoon. I'm going to pop up light at night on the Big 12 Mafia YouTube channel. I think Saturday is going to be interesting at my interesting weekend ahead when it comes to all this stuff. So I thought I thought tomorrow, Thursday, was going to be, a little bit of relaxation. I think what the Pac-12, what Kliakoff and the Pac-12 presidents finally came to the realization is they could not have Greg Pflugar singing the sounds of silence once again. So they're going to come out with something positive. They had to do it. They did it. They released it. They released their positive leak, so-called positive leak, 26 seconds after we released the episode of Sounds of Silence because they had to stop it. They had to stop it. They didn't want the damage to be done anymore with me singing. Great call, Steve. Appreciate it. Wow. Some of these comments. Woo! Monday's going to be super interesting. If this is a Hail Mary, then it should be known that the Hail Mary works only 9.7% of the time. Thanks, J-Rod. There will be an update with absolutely nothing, Curtis is saying. If Jason Shear's correct, and we happen to think he is, there's going to be more disappointment tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. Full stop. You said it better than I ever could have. They couldn't have Greg Pflugar singing, full stop. I would add singing that most difficult song. Other songs, Monovision, I think they would be happy to hear me sing. That song was just a little bit too difficult, but I did it anyways because that's what we do here at Peek Around the Corner. We cover everything in college football and we sing songs that we should have no ability. We shouldn't be doing it. We're going to sing the songs anyways. Arizona's just waiting for Colorado. So is Colorado leaving the stage on Monday or Tuesday? We went through that random. The commitment to the conference to join a dozen years ago could depend in part on the long-awaited Pac-12 broadcast rights deal. As we've been saying here at Peek Around the Corner, it's always been about the deal. Always been about the Pac-12 media deal. What can they get? We know that Colorado wants to stay in the Pac-12. We all get it. We've been talking about it forever at Peek Around the Corner. But we also been talking about since February 24th when we said the odds have flipped and the chances are now greater that the Big 12 will poach at least one of the Pac-12 schools because at that time we were told the Pac-12 has been lowballed by ESPN and Fox and we kept getting more and more negative information from the sources. And we're still on that today because it's always been about the Pac-12 media deal. DiStefano didn't really say anything different other than they're going to get some numbers presented to them tomorrow, Thursday. They hope for clarity. They haven't seen any real numbers yet, like we've been telling you all. They better get some numbers. They better be decent. I happen to think, of course, everything that we've been told from people who would know, they can't figure out where this deal's coming from, how it's going to look like, and how they're going to get the money. So we'll see. Thursday, tomorrow has just now been an incredible day for us here at Peek Around the Corner. I want to tell you something. No, it doesn't change my odds. Not at all. Not at all. I'm sure people are spinning this every which way. what I got out of this interview in the Denver Post is that numbers clarity supposedly is coming tomorrow. So we shall see. We shall see, because we're going to be working on finding out exactly what that is. And we're not going to be the only ones, but we've got a line in there. We're going to try to figure this out. So I'm very excited for tomorrow. Now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, yours truly, I'm actually going to be able to disengage from taking care of my parents. My wife is going to Rochester, taking some great, with her friends and things, and I'm going to be taking some time off. But, we've got aides coming in. We've got family members coming in. I'm going to be able to do episodes and live shows whenever it's needed for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. So I've got it all lined up. My schedule for the first time in a long time is clear. So look out, because we're going to be doing some big time content on the show. We're going to finish strong on this story, on this saga, because you all deserve it, the PATC community. So buckle up, stay with us. We're going to be closing it up for tonight for this live show, Wednesday, July 19th. We're going to be doing something tomorrow, something Friday, a couple of things probably over the weekend. So hang with us. Thank you for your super chat, Monavision. Johnny Cash, 25 minutes ago. It's written by Shel Severston, is my request. I'll take a look at it. Just another song I probably can't sing, but we'll see. We'll take a look at it. But stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Before you leave, if you're new to this show, please subscribe to the show. It's a way for you to get notified of our next episode and our next live show. Follow us at Twitter at Flug Empire. Check out our merchandise store in the link provided in the description. Thank you so very much for joining us here Wednesday evening. And of course, some news broke. It happens every time we do a live show, but the PATC community is elite at keeping their head on a swivel. Until next time. From all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.